What's up, YouTube people? It is I, the grateful recovering addict, bringing to you another segment of Hypodermically Speaking, Confessions of a Spoon Cooker, part in their recovery. Today, I want to just share with you some of my thoughts, some of my observations in regards to where I feel the world and humanity as a whole is heading to. These are not predictions, these are not, these are just my opinions, but I'm making these statements because observations and information, and no way am I this is not my specialty, but the way things are going in the world, right? Like, you got a world and you got people on it, regardless of how we got here and who else is out there, if there are anybody out there. There's got to be something out there, right? But you got people on the planet, so they say, right? I've never been up in space. I've never seen the Earth as a whole. I'm only taking what I know as facts. People, when they print in books, it's not always fact. I'm writing a book. I'm trying to make it as factual as possible, but at the same time, I have to change names and dates and certain other pieces of information to not incriminate myself and maybe protect others, right? So it's not always going to be 100% factual, So from what I see, because it all goes back to what's going on now with, right? First time like this has happened, at least in my lifetime. You can only go back so far in the history records to the Spanish flu of 1918. And essentially, they weren't walking around with these, right? They were, you get it, you have to go get help, get treated, and if you lived, you lived. If you didn't, you didn't. Your body is gonna have, some people's bodies have strong immune responses to whatever's out there. Doesn't mean they're immune to everything, but not everybody is equal. Not everybody's immune response is equal. You could be born. I wasn't born with a silver spoon, and I wasn't born with the food stamp. I was born somewhere in the middle. I come from a hard-working people background. We work, pay, responsible. I was the only idiot that decided to get high and drunk and get into trouble, and I'm at where I'm at today. But I'm aware of my past decisions, and I'm not going to repeat those mistakes. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So the world right now, there's definitely a higher authority, not a higher power, because humans can they, like, absolute power corrupts absolutely, right? So anywhere you go in life, you go to the top of any organization, any structure, there's always usually one entity, one person in charge, calling the shots, running the things, And the truth is, you don't want people to know everything you know. So, like, even, like, for example, with people who are in power, I'm not naming any names, I'm not going to be specific, but the people in power, you don't know if they're in power. Like, I don't think we've had a real president since probably even before my time, JFK, So you don't know if these presidents are really in control. You don't know if there's someone behind them pulling the strings. You don't know what they're really bringing, like, to the television. It's called television programming for a reason. They're trying to condition us, so we gotta condition the conditioners. And it goes back to, all these conspiracies and propagandas and stuff, but there is something to it because the information is out there, You could go look for it and research yourself, see what's available, and make a decision for yourself. But what I concluded is that they're trying to take away humanity. Whoever they are, I don't know if they're human or what they are or what, but them have a plan, right? The plan is to weaken the human populace. How are they gonna do that? Anyway, in every way they can. They're gonna weaken our bodies with, disease, with chemicals in our food. They're gonna control the food supply. That's what Bill Gates is doing right now. I said I wasn't gonna name names, but some names just have to be named. Um, they're gonna control every aspect of your life. Jobs were furloughed and shut down, and you can't keep relying on this unemployment and these stimulus checks. These are just jokes. These are just distractions. These are just like handouts. They're not going to really go anywhere, because before you know it, inflation's going to be up. So that $1,400 stimulus check they gave you, this happened in Germany before World War II, and they were blaming the Jewish people on this. But in their country, right at this time, I'm just using them as an example. You could have, they had what, Deutschmarks, whatever the money was. They had like 1 million of them, right? And you couldn't even get a loaf of bread with that. They chose to burn their money to stay warm, rather than, because they couldn't do nothing else with it. So this is what they don't really like teach in schools, like the cost of living. Like when you go to school, you go to school because they have a program to put you in school. It's not like back where parents knew it was the right thing for a child to get an education. Back then, education was different. It wasn't just like grade 1, grade 2, and so forth. They made a business out of that. You'd go to get education so you learn something. Back then, it was like, whatever, you learned, if you weren't really a person that could handle labor, you weren't going to be on a farm, or you weren't going to work in some kind of craft, some kind of skill, some kind of trade, then yeah, they would have to find a way for you to earn a living, survive. So they created other kinds of employment. They would teach you, like, sit behind a desk, letter carrier. So they find something for you. But your parents put you to get you an education, so this way your mind would develop and you would learn something. They're trying to take away all that. They're taking the kids away from the school because of what's going on, and they know they can't sit in front of a television or a computer screen and pay attention to what's going on in class when they got everything else in front of them. This is a whole generation of the ADD, ADHD kids, right? It's like the future's going to be like a Hunger Games situation. I never seen the movie, but my brother's seen it, and I know enough of it to see what's going on. And that book, what's that book called? The one where they have those kids trapped on the island. You know what I'm talking about? Where like bunch of kids are on the island, no adults, and they have to figure, they end up killing the kid. I think his name was Piggy. But you see what I'm saying? They look at humans like this. It's like, okay, you got humans, generations. The eldest generation goes back, so they remember more. They weren't around growing up with the internet, all cameras, all that stuff, surveillance, too much of it. They remember at that time. Fast forward to the most current generation. This is normal to them. In between, you have those people that notice and observe, and they see these things, and they call shenanigans. They call bullshit. They're like, yo, this don't make sense. Why are they doing this? They question. They like, they're real observant and keen as to why this is happening. And whoever's in charge, like I said, they want to suppress that. They want to put the people down because they know there's more of us than they are of them. And if it was when it comes to numbers, we more than they are, we could do something about it. But they're gonna use anything and everything they can, like with technology. They're gonna build those robots, those police dogs, like all kinds of weapons and military stuff to like one of those Terminator, cyber, Skynet shit. You know what I mean? So like, and what they do is, from what I understand, for who they are, they have to inform us, but they can't like blatantly say like, hey, we're gonna destroy you, enslave you, and all this stuff. They can't say that, but they can. The way they are allowed to do, and they have to say it. They have to inform us in some kind of way. And what they do is they use Hollywood, they use television, they use books, they use literature, they use that card game, the whatever, to let us know their plan. People are gonna look at it, oh, this is make believe, this is not real. You'd be surprised, like, because they have fun with it. They're sick, sadistic people, They wanna. I still haven't really figured it out yet, because if you want to just enslave humanity and feed off the negative emotions of our pain and suffering, then if that's your goal, then they're working towards it, because they have a lot of things going on right now with the wars. Why do people go to war? People should only really... Hello?